What's up, guys? It's your boy X back at you again with another video today. And today we're going to be talking about tips for people that are looking to get their fingers, feet, or their hands tattooed. The first thing we're going to discuss is why it's harder to get a tattoo in one of these places. And the second thing we're going to talk about are tips for people that are looking to get finger tattoos. And then lastly, we're going to discuss tips for people that are looking to get their hands and their feet tattooed. So let's get into this content. Okay, so I'd say the number one factor when it comes to fingers and hands and why they age poorly would be UV exposure from the sun. UV exposure does break down the pigment particles that are in tattoo pigment that's beneath your skin. So over time, that's going to cause it to fade and start to gray out. Feet probably not so much because they don't get as much exposure, sun exposure, as fingers and hands do, but I'm sure for people that like to wear sandals a lot or have their feet exposed a lot, that does become more of a factor than it would say like your arm or your leg or your rib cage, someplace that's usually covered most of the time and doesn't have to worry about dealing with being ravaged by the sun exposure. Other things that make it a little bit harder to get a tattoo in that place would be joints, like your finger joints, your wrist joints. If you're tattooing over those are areas of the body that have high movement to them. Hands and feet in general have high movement to them. We're using these parts of our body daily. We grab things, we walk on them, we pick things up. So we're actively using these body parts, which is causing wear and tear on the tattoos. The next thing that makes it harder to get a tattoo in one of these places would be skin quality. It's quite common, for people to have rougher hands and rougher feet. Once again, what plays a factor in that is, how active these body parts are, as well as, how much moisture they receive on a daily basis, as well as how much a person is washing their hands, washing their feet. So, that tends to dry out the skin a little bit more. And if you're not keeping up with a daily moisturizing regimen, the skin quality can suffer from that, and the skin can become drier and tougher, which also makes it a lot harder to tattoo, as well as a lot harder to heal a tattoo. So, and I probably say the last thing that makes it hard to get a tattoo in one of the areas is just there's less subcutaneous fat in these areas. So let's move forward. The next thing we're going to talk about are tips that you can do if you're looking to get finger or hands and feet. We'll start with fingers, and I'd probably say the first things that you guys want to do are avoid the joints, so avoid the knuckle bones, and then avoid the palm skin. It is possible to get a tattoo on palm skin, but it's a lot less likely that that's going to hold up well over time, as well as you're going to need to get it retouched significant amount of times probably to make it stay. And don't quote me on that, because I'm sure there's some tattoo artists out there that can hammer a palm skin tattoo in on the first try. I'm sure they can, but it's generally speaking, it's probably going to be a place that you're going to need to get touched up regularly. So after that, I'd probably say the thing that you can do at home before you're thinking about coming in to get your tattoo for your finger is make sure you're improving your skin quality by daily moisturizing your hands or your feet, whichever one it is that you're going to get tattooed, just so you can try and soften that skin up, improve the skin quality. That makes the tattoo artist's job significantly easier when it comes to applying the ink beneath the skin. They have a smooth work area for the ink to smoothly go into the skin. The next thing that you want to do is don't overcomplicate things. You don't want to clutter too much information in such a small space, or something that's too overly detailed in such a small space. Finger tattoos should be simple, they should be clean, they should be sleek. They shouldn't have like a crazy amount of dates or words trying to get crammed into this tiny ass space. It's not gonna hold up well over time. So try to streamline the process, do something clean, crisp, simple, that's gonna look aesthetically pleasing, it's gonna wear well, it's gonna fit well with the body. The next thing that I want to talk about would be ring finger tattoos. So once again, this is where not doing dates and not doing names comes into play. If you wanted to put someone's name on your finger, maybe opt for one letter, the first letter of their name, the initial. Not that I abide getting people's names on each other, because you never know what's going to happen. Like even if the relationship's awesome, God forbid something happens to your partner and they pass away, and then you get remarried, and now you still have that person's finger on your name on your finger. So, but if you're gonna do it, I would say just shorten it up. Get like one letter, something that you can see very clearly. It's very legible in your hand, instead of trying to pack their entire name on your finger. Because if you try and take it that route, what's gonna happen is over time, with all tattoos, the ink beneath the skin starts to spread out. Lines get bigger over time, and the ink will start to migrate into one another to where the name will no longer be legible, because you've tried to cram so much detail in such a small space. So let's avoid that. Simplify it. Let's use like the first initial of the name or whatever. So next thing I would say is you want to try and find an artist that has adequate experience tattooing fingers. If you're going to, more of a junior artist, it's likely that they do not have enough experience tattooing fingers in order to know how deep and how much force is needed to make sure that that tattoo is actually going to hold and not fall out of one of the upper skin layers. So make sure you get someone that's done a decent amount of fingers. And then the next thing I would say would be to be prepared. It's very likely that the finger tattoo that you're looking forward to getting has a high probability of falling out of your skin. It's really a hit or miss thing. It's something that most tattoo artists and tattoo shops don't guarantee, because because of the unpredictable nature of how they heal. So because of that, just be prepared. If in 2 weeks parts of it have fallen out, half of it's fallen out, or all of it's fallen out, do not be surprised, and be prepared to go get it touched up multiple times until it looks how you want it to look. One thing that you can do to try and improve the healing process would be to use a derm. You can ask your tattoo artist about it before you get tattooed to see if they carry it. Some of them do, some of them don't. It's not cheap to provide derm to your clients. So, not every artist is going to have that on hand, but some do. I personally provide it to all my tattoo clients because I want their tattoos to heal the best that they can. So if it can get derm, I'll use derm. Fingers, as far as retaining the derm and keeping it in place, it can be a little iffy because of how active your fingers are. That can come off and start to peel off. But let me go into what a derm is for people that don't know what that is. It's a semi-permeable dressing that goes on top of the tattoo. It is water resistant, not waterproof, so you can shower with it, but I don't recommend submerging it in water of any kind. And it's typically it typically goes onto the tattoo, and it can stay on there from anywhere between 1 and 3 days, which is a typical critical time period in which the tattoo is at its most vulnerable state, as well as needing to maintain a consistent layer of moisture. That way that it helps to improve the healing process. And in my personal experience using them on myself and on my clients, I feel like they drastically increase how well a tattoo can heal. And it pretty much takes all the guesswork out and takes out human error out of the equation, because a lot of tattoos honestly heal up poorly because of human error and clients not knowing how much ointment to put on, how much how much they should be washing their tattoos, as well as what things should interact or come in contact with their fresh tattoo and what things should not come in contact with their fresh tattoo. So like I said, the DermCon takes the guesswork out of that. It's great for most tattoos. Fingers, it might be a little difficult to put it on there, but if you can get it on there and keep it to stay on there for the allotted time, you're probably going to have a better heal for the tattoo. So next we'll move forward on to hands and feet and things that you guys can do to improve the quality of those tattoos. I would probably say the number one thing that goes along with hands would be make sure the design fits the anatomy. Don't get a tattoo that is overly detailed or the shape of it itself doesn't fit this circular shape of the hand. Make sure it fits well, and you're not putting too much information into it. The next thing, bold tattoos will hold. So thicker lines, darker, heavy shading, heavy fields of black, those things will help. Darker palettes, if it's black and gray, that'll help to boost the longevity of the tattoo. If we're doing color, I would say stick to more muted palettes as well as neutral tones. They tend to hold up better in the skin. The next thing that you guys want to be looking for is an artist that has enough experience doing hand tattoos to know, once again, just like fingers, to know, when they're at the right depth of the skin to put the ink in properly, as well as not causing too much skin trauma to the point of where they're beating up the skin. It's a delicate balance, but it's one an experienced artist is going to know how to achieve. The next thing, again, just like fingers, avoid the palm skin. They typically do not heal up well. And then nextly, we'll be talking about tattoos on the side of the hand in this area. That's another spot you should avoid. Consider it like palm skin. I know they look cool, they look trendy, but in a couple weeks, it's likely that it will fall out and it's not going to look how you want it to look. And finally, with this one as well, derm. Derm is your best friend for a hand tattoo. Will significantly improve the healing process. Just make sure you're not fidgeting around with it too much, and make sure you try to keep it in place as much as you can. I know that's probably going to be a little bit more difficult because you have to wash your hands every day. At least you should be washing your hands every day. But if you can keep it on there, it will improve the quality of the tattoo. They do sell derm at CVS and Walgreens. It's under Tegaderm. They have patches. They sell small patches and large patches. So if you get it from your artist and you have it on for the first night, it happens to fall off, you can replace it yourself. Make sure you thoroughly clean the area, dry it thoroughly, and then apply another patch. That can help to get you through for the first couple of days until you can switch over to like a non-scented hand lotion or something of that nature. So that's pretty much all the tips that I got for you guys as far as hands and feet and fingers go. I hope you guys found this information useful. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future content from me. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.